Recently, both The Crimes of Grindelwald and J.K. Rowling have been getting a ton of publicity, most of it very, very bad. I will say, however, that the memes are pretty funny. I'm not here to talk about all of the hate on J.K. Rowling though. That's been covered enough, and I don't want to take it any further. I do, however, want to talk about The Crimes of Grindelwald and Rowling's writing patterns. She went from writing novels straight into writing screenplays, which are very different. I studied script writing in college and grew up with a mother that was an English major, so I pretty much grew up around reading and writing. I'm gonna put all of that knowledge to use and dive deep into this script and the original novels and find some similarities. Now obviously it's the same author, so it's expected to have certain patterns show up, but I still find it very interesting and want to break it down because I found a lot. So in this video, I'm going to look at the 8 biggest examples I found of how The Crimes of Grindelwald copied the original series. Before we start, I should warn you that there will be spoilers for the original series and The Crimes of Grindelwald. So now that that's out of the way, let's get started.
Theseus Scamander? The war hero?
No, this is his little brother.
Brothers/family pick aside. In The Crimes of Grindelwald, we see brothers Newt and Theseus butt heads quite a few times. In the last film, it was acknowledged that Theseus was the golden child, and Newt was always in his shadow. During this film, Theseus is dating Newt's former love interest, Leta Lestrange, which is not cool. We also see Newt storm out of a hearing when he's told he has to work for his brother, showing that he wants nothing to do with his brother being in charge of him. And if Newt did work for his brother, his ban on traveling outside of the country would be dismissed. So this shows just how much he wants nothing to do with Theseus. Later on in the film, we also see Theseus go after Newt and Tina pretty aggressively.
That's your brother?
So I think I may have mentioned in my letters that we have quite a complicated relationship.
Does he want to kill you? Frequently.
And most of all, Newt refuses to join Theseus' side.
I don't do sides.
This story parallels Percy Weasley's arc in the original series, when his family joined the Order of the Phoenix after Harry and Dumbledore claimed that Voldemort had returned. Percy abandoned his whole family and stayed on the Ministry side. He told his dad he was an idiot for running around with Dumbledore and helped the Ministry go after his family and family friends. He made sure that everyone knew he wasn't a part of or associated with his family. Both of these arcs end with them coming back to their family during or after the final battle. At the end of Fantastic Beasts, Newt hugs his brother and tells him that he's picked a side.
I've chosen my side.
For Percy, he returned claiming that he was a fool and an idiot, and apologized to his family during the Battle of Hogwarts. Both were of course accepted back by their brothers and family, and the ordeal made the relationship stronger moving forward.
I cannot move against Grindelwald. It has to be you.
Tragic love story from the past. Now, this is a bit of a controversial one because so many people are up in arms about Dumbledore and Grindelwald's relationship. To me, Dumbledore has been gay since I first read the Deathly Hallows, so I wasn't as shocked as many others were when he had definite affection for Grindelwald in this film. This love from the past is not the main story, but it's definitely present throughout, and pushes the main plot in different directions. For instance, Dumbledore can't go after Grindelwald, and Grindelwald cannot go after Dumbledore because of the blood pact that they made.
It's a blood pact, isn't it? You swore not to fight each other.
Dumbledore looking into the mirror of Erised, which shows you your deepest and most desperate desires of your heart, was one of my favorite scenes in the whole film. You see him reminisce and even laugh as he sees himself with Grindelwald, the man that he loves, but deep down, he knows he can never truly be with him. In the original series, we have a similar love story from the past, this time with Snape and Lily. Again, Snape's past love for Lily is not at the center of the story, but like in Crimes of Grindelwald, it pushes the plot in different ways, starting in the very first book. He saves and protects Harry throughout his first year, and later, he continues to protect Harry, putting himself in terrible danger to do so. And why does he protect Harry? Because he's the son of the woman that he loves. Both of these love stories from the past had tragic endings, resulting in the death of a girl that one of them loved. For Dumbledore, it ended with the death of his little sister Ariana, and for Snape, it ended even more tragically, with the death of the actual woman that he loved, Lily. Snape and Lily's love story was one-sided. Snape loved Lily with all of his heart, while Lily saw him as a dear friend. Many also say that Dumbledore and Grindelwald's relationship was one-sided, Dumbledore having feelings for him, while Grindelwald saw him more as a brother. However, with the recent content we've gotten, it might be less one-sided than many thought.
You and Grindelwald were as close as brothers.
Oh, we were closer than brothers.
Their relationship was incredibly intense, it was passionate, and it was a love relationship.
Either way, both are tragic love stories from the past, and both arcs push the main plot in different directions. There is a clear parallel between the two arcs.
Mr. Scamander fears what more than anything else in the world?
Having to work in an office, sir.
Defense against the dark arts. Now, I debated putting this one in here because the scene in the book is very different from the movie. In the book, Lupin takes his class to the teacher's lounge where there is a boggart. But in the film, he has a cabinet with the boggart in it in the actual Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom. Visually, it's one of the most recognizable parallels between the two series, so of course they had to add it. In The Crimes of Grindelwald, we see Dumbledore do the exact same lesson that Lupin did with Harry's class in his 3rd year. They line up and take turns facing the boggart, which turns into each person's worst fear. In The Prisoner of Azkaban, we see Lupin step forward, and it's revealed that his worst fear is the full moon because he is a werewolf. I think it would have been really cool to see Dumbledore step in front of the boggart and see his worst fear. We know from a Q&A with J.K. Rowling that his worst fear is the dead corpse of Ariana, his little sister. This is further proven as he says to Harry in the Deathly Hallows that he dreaded beyond all things the knowledge that he had been the one who brought about her death. Anyway, it seems like Rowling copied this scene from Prisoner of Azkaban and pasted it into The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Cornelius, I implore you to see reason.
The Ministry fears Dumbledore. No matter what time period it is, Dumbledore is the most powerful wizard in the world. It's only natural that people wanted him to take on the post of Minister of Magic. Due to his lust for power that he discovered in his youth, Dumbledore was content with his job at Hogwarts, whether that be teaching or being the headmaster, not wanting to indulge in more powerful positions. The Ministry, however, did not know that, and in both this film and the original series, Ministry employees feared Dumbledore going after them. In The Crimes of Grindelwald, Travers, who was the head of the Department of Magical Law Enforcement, was very paranoid of Dumbledore attempting to move on the Ministry, so much so that he had Dumbledore and his many friends followed. When Travers visited Dumbledore at Hogwarts, Dumbledore assured him that he was not planning to move against the Ministry.
However long you keep me and my friends under surveillance, you're not going to discover plots against you, Travers, because we want the same thing, the defeat of Grindelwald.
In the original series, 60 to 70 years later, we saw the same thing happen, only this time with the Minister of Magic, Cornelius Fudge. He too was paranoid that Dumbledore was trying to overthrow the Ministry with an army of his students. Harry and a few other students decided to rebel and start a group with the name Dumbledore's Army to make fun of the Ministry, naming it the thing that they would fear most. Fudge got so paranoid of Dumbledore coming after him that he even sent Dolores Umbridge to the school to slowly strip Dumbledore of his power at Hogwarts.
Dolores Umbridge will, as High Inquisitor, have powers to address the seriously falling standards at Hogwarts School.
That being said, both Fudge and Travers asked Dumbledore for help. Fudge asked Dumbledore for help too many times to count, asking for advice on what to do and how to do it. Travers asked Dumbledore for help, begging him to go after Grindelwald. In both time periods, Dumbledore had no plans whatsoever to join the Ministry at all, but yet, the Ministry was still terrified of him.
We flush ourselves in. That's bloody disgusting.
Breaking into the Ministry. In the original series, one of the most ambitious things that the trio ever did was break into the Ministry of Magic.
This is completely mental.
Completely.
The world's mental.
They planned for a month, scouting out the area and gathering information before they executed their plan. They ended up using Polyjuice Potion to disguise themselves as Ministry employees. In The Crimes of Grindelwald, Newt and Tina had to break into the Ministry of Magic as well, only for them, it was the French Ministry of Magic. Newt did the exact same thing that the trio did and used Polyjuice Potion to get in. He, however, turned into his brother Theseus.
Is that Polyjuice?
It's just enough to get me inside.
Both of their missions were to retrieve something. For the trio, it was Slytherin's locket, one of Voldemort's Horcruxes. And for Newt and Tina, they were after a box with the Lestrange family tree in it. Both things were connected to prominent pureblood families. Both also ended up facing magical creatures, both of which were the color black, I might add. For the trio, it was Dementors, and for Newt, Tina, and Lita, who would join their gang, they faced Madigo. Also, both Newt and Harry saw wanted posters of themselves as they were running. Ultimately, they both made a wild escape and were successful in not getting caught.
It's only a boggart. It can't hurt you.
Specific character flashbacks. One of the main focuses of Crimes of Grindelwald was the character Lita Lestrange. We got flashbacks of her life, from her heritage, to her childhood, and to her time at Hogwarts. In the Deathly Hallows, Snape gets sort of the same treatment. We get flashbacks to his childhood, his time at Hogwarts, and the events leading to his change in loyalty. Both have montages of character flashbacks, and in both, something shocking is revealed. For Lita, it's that she switched her baby brother with another baby and ended up watching her real brother drown. In Snape's flashback, the shocking thing that is revealed is that he still loves Lily, Harry's mother, even after all those years.
Lily? After all this time?
Always.
Snape blamed himself for Lily's death because he was the one that told Voldemort about the prophecy, which ultimately made Voldemort go after the Potters. Meanwhile, Lita blamed herself for her brother's death because she switched the babies. Both Lita and Snape carry around a huge secret that tears them up inside, consumed by grief and guilt. Their feelings for this are both so strong that they actually change something for each of them. For Snape, his Patronus takes the form of Lily's Patronus, a doe, something that happens when you deeply love someone. And for Lita, the form that a boggart takes when it approaches her became the image of her brother drowning, wrapped in his blanket. The two characters have many parallels, and both have tragic backstories that are revealed in each book or film.
Nagini. Kill.
The death of that character. Both of those characters not only got their past told, but both of them also met their end dying a hero. Lita stepped forward to face Grindelwald, allowing Newt and Theseus to escape. Meanwhile, Snape died playing a double agent to protect Harry. Both of them were killed by the main villain in the series, Snape by Voldemort and Lita by Grindelwald. On top of that, both of them died for the people that they loved. As I said, Snape died protecting Harry, the only thing that he could give back to Lily, protecting her only son. Meanwhile, Lita died protecting Newt and Theseus, the two men that she loved. And right before she died, she said, "I love you."
I love you.
The same goes for Snape. Right before he died, his last words conveyed his love for Lily.
You have your mother's eyes.
The two characters parallel each other, both remembered as heroes.
For neither can live while the other survives.
The ending revelation for the Chosen One. One of the most controversial scenes in The Crimes of Grindelwald was the final scene where Grindelwald told Credence that he's the brother of Albus Dumbledore. Now, whether this is true or not, it made a rift that will forever change the series. Credence is the Chosen One in the Fantastic Beasts series. He's the most powerful and longest living Obscurial in history, as they're not supposed to live past the age of 10. He's the only one that Grindelwald thought stood a chance against the most powerful wizard of all time, Dumbledore.
Credence is the only entity alive who can kill him.
And he quite literally was chosen by Grindelwald to kill Dumbledore. The whole film, Credence tries to track down his real family, and ultimately he ends up coming short. Grindelwald, however, promises him that he can tell him his true heritage, and in the end, he does. He explains how phoenixes are drawn to Dumbledores, which is why Credence had one for a big portion of the film. In the original series, Harry is of course the Chosen One.
It's true. I am the Chosen One.
He doesn't find this out until the end of the 5th book, and just like Credence, he finds out life-changing information, that he has to be the one to kill Voldemort, or Voldemort has to kill him.
One of us is gonna have to kill the other. In the end.
Yes.
Both are left with a crazy task to kill one of the most powerful wizards of all time. For Harry, Voldemort, and for Credence, Dumbledore. And another thing that's cool is that we had to wait 2 years for the next Harry Potter book to find out what happened after the Order of the Phoenix. And the same goes for Fantastic Beasts 3. Crimes of Grindelwald was released in 2018, and the next film will be released 2 years later in 2020. Thanks so much for watching, guys. You can follow me on social media. Links for that will be in the description. And I want to give a huge shout out to all my Patrons listed below. If you want to be listed on my next video, plus a bunch of other rewards, check out my Patreon, which is linked down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you press that subscribe button to help grow the channel. Again, thank you so much for watching, and look out for more great videos on the way.